In the start of this chapter, we see that the Benchtelen is very angry. He thinks, I was going to take over the fortress and bring down the emperor with the increased influence. All my plans were ruined, just because of some outsider. This is pissing me off. Nirasha asks him to calm down. She says, just find a different way to reach your goals. Benchtelen says, so what? Should I start a revolution right now? But Jinhyuk will. She says, idiot. That's why we're here. There is another girl. Her name is Chundra. And boy, his name is Arun. They're from the Gandhara Guild and Nirasha is their guild master. After that we see that the Alice and Teresa are very drunk. They can't even talk properly. Adria says to Jinhyuk, I managed to drag them back here, but I can't handle them being drunk. Jinhyuk says to her, let them have fun. Alice and Teresa need to get closer to each other, even if that is how they're going about it. Andrea, tell me what happened to Namgung Tion. She says, Namgung Tion met an end fitting for someone as arrogant as him. Master left not even a trace of him behind. He says, all right, that's good enough. Jinhyuk give her something, and says that it's a gift for saving Wu Liao. She says, this is. System tells us about the gift that she received. Fox Marble. Acquisition difficulty, SSS. Description. A marble that allows you to transform into a nine-tailed fox. Registering user. Movement speed and other skills will be added when transformed. The owner cannot be changed once registered. She uses the marble and turns into a nine-tailed fox. Jinhyuk says, you look much better like that than in some cheap costume. Now go back to your floor. It's not good for a floor's boss to be gone for so long. She says, okay. Jinhyuk thinks, I knew it'd be perfect for her. Out of the loot I got from Anthrad. The other items are whatever, but what the hell is this? System says, Spring Water of Oblivion. Description. Allows user to manipulate the memories of all beings outside the tower. The duration of the memory depend on the completion rate of the item. Current completion rate, 7%. Jinhyuk thinks, mass memory manipulation. I've never seen an item like this during the game. Just how much power it possessed. By the Tower of Trials in this world? The next day, we see that Yusung, Teresa, and Jinhyuk are going somewhere with the Pinheimer. He says, those treasurers are all cast with trap spells. Those who get blinded by greed will find it hard to make it out of here alive. The place we are headed to is where the royal family rests. Those with impure intentions dare not enter this holy place. Isn't that so, Abraham? Abraham didn't say anything. Pinheimer says, His Majesty ordered me to guide you here without anyone knowing. This is where the former emperors rest, the emperor's tomb. Jinhyuk thinks, I've only ever snuck in here. It's weird to be here by invitation. Abraham and the Pinheimer bow down and say, Your Majesty Reinhardt. Reinhardt says, Good work. My swordmasters. Dear heroes, you have defeated 4 demons. I will bestow upon you 3 Heavens Designation Stones as promised. The Heavens Designation Stone allows you to communicate with the higher divine beings in the tower. Originally, only those with royal blood are allowed to possess this item. But keep in mind that this is only a medium for communication. In order to speak with the divine beings, you need to have the right qualities. Those who are chosen become the owners of the designated stone. Those who are not chosen can never use it. Teresa notices something and says, There's one more missing other than our 3 designation stones. Jinhyuk says, That's probably because it was already used. The founding emperor, Reinhardt I, who had been recognized by the divine beings for immense power and adept ability to rule. But that means that there wasn't anyone after him who was able to compete with him. After that, the authority of the emperor has been declined. Isn't that so, Your Majesty? Pinheimer gets angry and says, Jinhyuk, watch your mouth. I cannot just sit by and allow you to speak like that to His Majesty. Reinhardt says, It's okay. He's not wrong. Authority, it's what my subordinates argue over all the time. I'm already aware that I'll never be as powerful as the founding emperor. I don't have any power or will left within me anymore. I had taken both for granted and at some point, they were suddenly gone. Like my successor who's buried here, authority weighs too much on me now. So please take these stones and protect the people of the empire in my stead. Jinhyuk thinks, what a pathetic emperor. I would have thrown him out right away had the situation been any different. System says, all barriers are being cancelled. Defense magic spell has been undone. Invaders are in the Emperor's tomb. There are many soldiers pointing their spears at them. Bench Talon appears there and says, Your Majesty. Penheimer get angry and says, Bench Talon, you traitor. You dare bare your teeth at His Majesty? Bench Talon says, Poor old man. I'm not the only one. Penheimer says, Mackenzie? And the other swordmasters too? Abraham is also going on their side. Abraham took out his sword and says, This is my first and last warning. Players, back off. This has nothing to do with you. Jinhyuk smiles and says, I can't do that. I haven't received all my rewards yet. Bench Talon asks them not to waste any time and attack right away. Abraham gives them warning again. Nirasha appears there. She says, You must be conflicted about harming the saviors of your empire. Then we'll take care of them. You don't care if it's fellow players who harm them, right? She says, Arun, Chandra. Chandra attacked Teresa, but she blocks her attack. Arun attack Yusung, and he also blocks his attack. After that, Nirasha attacked Jinhyuk. He also blocked her attack. She says, So you're Jinhyuk. Nice to meet you. Jinhyuk activates the Eye of Gluttony. System says, Failed to evaluate target. The current target is blessed by Mandala. Jinhyuk thinks, Mandala's blessing? She says, It's still not too late. If you stand with us, we'll share our profits with you. Bench Talon has promised to give our guild 10% of the Empire's profits if we manage to successfully help him take over the Empire. It doesn't look that promising for the Emperor anymore. Anyway, Jinhyuk start laughing. He says, You don't seem to know just what kind of bastards the sword masters are. Mackenzie and Abraham are fighting with Penheimer. Penheimer says to them, I don't remember teaching you to be like this. Why have you betrayed us, Mackenzie, Abraham? Mackenzie says, We haven't betrayed the Empire. We have decided to betray the Emperor who refuses to do anything when the Empire is falling. Look for yourself at the Emperor. He's given up everything. He's pathetic even while you fight for his sake. Penheimer says, Yes, His Majesty has not been well even since the prince passed away. But in his body runs the blood of Reinhardt. And I've sworn to protect the Reinhardt. Abraham says, If that is your answer, you leave me no choice but to slay you. Mackenzie and Abraham's swords pierce through Penheimer armor. Abraham says, You could have easily defeated both of us. So why? Penheimer says, A swordmaster is meant to be wielded only to protect the people of the Empire and the Emperor. And you're my disciples as well as brothers. What master can slay their own disciple? You fools. I apologize that I was unable to prevent things from getting to this point. Penheimer is on his knees. Jinhyuk says, Well done. Did you finally realize that something's off? The bench Talon that you're pushing to power is already on the side of Murim. These players were invited by Murim. Abraham says, Bench Talon, is he speaking the truth? Bench Talon is making the evil face and says, Why? Do you regret what you've done? Jinhyuk says, It's not too late. Take Penheimer and the Emperor and get out of here. Jinhyuk says to Mackenzie, Remember what I said about your trauma. Mackenzie remembers what Jinhyuk says to him. Jinhyuk says, Hey, I'm sorry about that back then. I protected the Empire, so forgive me. Mackenzie says, Go away. Jinhyuk says, You seem pretty traumatized. Do you want to know how you can overcome it? You can overcome trauma when you freely use it to your advantage. Mackenzie put down his helmet. Jinhyuk wears sunglasses. He activates the daylight on Mackenzie's bald head. No one can see because of this light. Yusung says, So this is why he handed these out to us. They took the Emperor and Penheimer and ran away from there. Bench Talon ordered his men to catch them. Jinhyuk says to her, Finally, we can talk on our own. I was looking forward to our meeting after hearing that a player had defeated a demon on the 21st floor by themselves. But you're not really all that. Now that it's just the two of us, why don't you show me your true power, Nirasha? She says, All right, I'll show you my true powers. She activates the unison of body and mind. God of Destruction, Shiva, interlinked. This is the end of the video. Subscribe for the next part.